Well, here we are.
Here we are. What's
It's our
setup here? I like this.
We figured, you know what? I've been talking a lot with Tony and you guys, and we figured it was about time to shine some light not only in the hospitality industry and the things that we do, but other businesses as well. Yeah. And I think we have a large group of people that follow us.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we use that platform not only to shine light on hospitality in general, but to really shine the light on hospitality and the challenges and also the Miami scene as a whole, and help other businesses in the process. And we hope to have a lot of guests on here soon, but this is our basic.
I like it. So does that make me the first official guest?
This does make you a first official guest.
I like it. It help us inside here. You're the host now, and I'm a guest. I'm it.
And the idea is that we just ask some questions, talk some hospitality.
Yeah.
Maybe shed some light on some of the things that people may or may not have known about the business and other places and or our places.
Yeah. So this new podcast is going to be you and Tony, or just you, and then you have your guests?
No, I think it'll be Tony and I and
you
guests.
Guys are going to be co-hosting.
Yep, absolutely. And
I love it. You guys got stories from all the damn restaurants.
Tony's got a lot of stories. I figured we'd start off by me asking him a shit ton of questions.
And Tony's a great storyteller.
Man, I just realized something. I brought gum with me.
So what? This is your place, your brother's place. Yeah, guys. Tony, why don't you
no more gum?
He just swallowed his gum.
I just no more gum. I just swallowed it.
Tony, let me give you a little podcast.
All right.
Your brother started out. You got to introduce yourself to the public.
Well, my name is Tony Guerra. I'm Emmy's older brother. And, man, we have a lot of stories to share. And
I am. I grew up going to the stories you're about to share.
Let's make them real, and let's do real talk.
I love it.
Well, actually, I want to start off. I want to ask Tony a question, which was, what is the first party you ever threw in your career that you organized, promoted, etc.? Where was it? When was it? What was the year? Tell us about it. Take us there.
Well, actually, that was the first official real party that I actually threw was in Philadelphia. I was in college. So I had graduated a semester earlier that year, and I didn't graduate till May. So the ceremony part, so I had like the whole, like, that January to May, nothing to do. So I was modeling, wasn't playing soccer anymore. So I had an idea. I was bored, like to throw a block party. So we lived on this really cool street called Summer Street, right there on Drexel campus. And I went to the police department nearby, asked them, hey, I want to throw a party. And then this is 1995. And I learned how to pull a permit, went to all the neighbors, closed.
How old were you there? How old were you at that time? I was out of high school. I think Emmy was.
Yeah, I was 23, 24.
So you were already 20s.
Yeah. And I, basically I pulled the permits, went to all the neighbors. I said, look, all of you are invited to the block party. But the rule was every house had to buy a keg. Literally, it was like a street with all these homes, row homes. Every house participated, had a garbage can with ice and a keg in the front.
Kind of the buildings with the stairs are going to kind of vibe.
So, and then we, the soccer players, had one house, field hockey. The girls' field hockey had another house. And then there was a bunch of wrestlers on that street. So we all had kegs, and it was a keg party. And it was my first party, and everybody on campus, like, we killed that block.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like this. This is fun. That was my first official, real organizing a party.
Was it done just for fun, or did you do it to make some money?
No, for fun. Like, not about the money. It was about, let's just get a few hundred people and let's just have fun with it.
Was it a flyer promotion style, like old school flyers, or?
Yeah, you know what? We did it with some of the athletes went, like the other houses, it was like Kinko's. It was like a yellow paper, a magenta, a pink, blue. It was like, and it went all around campus.
I remember those.
But it was a really cool party. This is in Philadelphia.
How many people showed up?
Easily 1,000. But back then, like 1,000 people, that's a lot of people.
Dude, it's still a lot of people.
That's still a lot of people.
You know?
We're a little jaded. But 1,000 people is still a lot of people.
Yeah, this is a
23-year-old kid.
Yeah. So it was
Philly, huh?
Philly. It was in Philadelphia, and we got the DJ for free, the local band for free. Everybody just wanted to be part of, like, the first block party. And the fact that the cops are cool about it, they were like, no problem.
That's crazy, dude.
That was my first party.
Well, let me ask you a question. So if that was your first party, what was the first nightclub or bar that you actually worked at
In Miami?
in-house in South Florida?
Well, I did like a weekend party once at a place called Club USA, but my first official job working in marketing and in-house was at Bash Nightclub, and I started there in 1996.
Oh man,
Full-time job.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Guy in the front with the suit on,
Yeah,
second people.
I wasn't allowed on the front door because, like, that was a very kind of exclusive. It wouldn't work today.
All right.
It was a red velvet rope, and too many people outside were using my name, so they didn't want me outside. They're
Right, you
like,
got to be hidden.
and they were French. Tony, please stay inside.
Tony.
And then, I was inside the club, and it was. But the best part of the club was it would always happen because by that time I was living on South Beach. I'll never forget. This is my French English accent. Tony, there's two guys in the front. They're wearing khakis, Tony. Khaki pants, from the Gap. I don't like khaki.
Oh,
Khaki cannot
God.
come in the
Oh
club.
my God.
What is it? It was true. There was a dress code.
No, that's how it was back then. I remember.
Tony, they're wearing khaki. I don't like khaki pants. So I would have to kind of sneak out and say, hey, guys, there's a dress code, two guys. Look, I'm working for this French company. There's a fashion designer involved, celebrities involved. And I would say, look at me. I'm in all black and I'm wearing a blazer. That's what it was like.
Yeah, I remember. And then what? They would have to, I guess, move on, right?
Yeah, it's just like you're not getting in.
That would be awesome.
Then if a group of guys showed up to the club unescorted, we would be walk down the street, find a date, come back with a
Come
date.
back, bring a girl, bring a
We're
girl.
not letting guys in alone. So there was a rule of thumb in the nightclubs back there. There's a ratio,
Yeah.
and you didn't want a place to look like Home Depot. If it looked like Home Depot and it's too much wood,
Yeah.
you didn't want it. So it was really about balancing the ratio.
You think you can get away with that today, nowadays?
No, because I think
No chance to.
I think people are too sensitive. They're
chance.
ready to complain to Yelp.
Yeah. Right.
Saying they didn't let me in because they didn't like my jeans or the color of my shoes. No, listen, the thing is, it's a lot different. Back then, there's are mini clubs, where a maximum capacity was 300 people. And then it was a different vibe. So you wanted the best of the best. You had real bottle customers, the fashion industry, and the movers and shakers. It wasn't based on money. It was based on who you are, your local, and what you added to the room. The make or break of these nightclubs in the 90s was the front door. You just didn't want an element, you just didn't want the undesirable. That was the formula back then.
Yeah.
And I had to, when you're from out of town and you're a foreigner and you're European and you're transient, you can pull that. But I was the only employee of the entire business that was a Miamian, born and raised. So I felt I had an obligation to my locals that are from Miami. So I used to feel bad by telling people I grew up with, hey, look, this is my job. And unfortunately, I got to follow the rules of this nightclub.
Oh, man.
Look, you're 3 guys, 4 guys, and there's a dress code here, because it was back then. If anybody who's watching this remembers, it was dress to impress. There was no sneakers,
no hats.
even if I were to go back in time and I
Shoots.
when you go back in time, and even you guys can.
Oh man, I fucked something up.
If you,
Sorry,
if you guys can go back at some of your pictures, even when you guys are younger than me, we're going out even in Coconut Grove or wherever it is you were going out. People had loafers, a nice pair of jeans, your shirt was tucked in,
Stakers.
because what you wanted was to create a safe, nice environment inside, and there was a certain decorum and dress code. I think that's but you know what? The 90s was following the 80s. So the 80s, during that whole era, everybody was flashy.
Yeah.
So people, I think, in the 90s were dressing down, but you still wore a blazer, a nice dress shirt.
Sure.
So it's a different era. But I have so many stories.
Dude, can I just tell you? While he was working there, I was 18 years old. I had thrown a couple parties. I lost a ton of money, and I got my first job at a nightclub. And I was working at the door at a place called Union Bar, and Union Bar was right next door to Bash. And Union Bar, I was 18-year-old brother working a door, and we were throwing. They hated us because they were the really, 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 really high end, crowd, and we were Miami to the max. So it was everyone back then up all night. Woohoo! we were throwing parties, and it was at Union Bar. I was working the door. I was working with Angel, Gus, Turtle, your partner, Fonseca, Luis Fonseca. I mean, it was a big group of us. But anyways, he used to be embarrassed because I was the guy next door wearing khakis.
You saw your brothers across the way.
Yeah, you look, you don't wear khakis to a nightclub.
No, I picked that up real quick. It took me 2 weeks. I needed to save some money and buy some. I was a kid.
Listen, you wear khakis just to drop a water on your pants to make you look like you peed yourself. I mean, think about it. You can't drop
Khakis.
no khakis.
Khakis in the club.
Yeah, but it was a great era. I mean, there's so much that we can do we could talk for hours. And
let me ask you a question. Since who would you say is the person that influenced your career the most? Or maybe, and if it's not more than one person, maybe there's three people. Who of all the people you worked with a lot of people, obviously. Who would you say influenced your career the most, and why, or what did you learn from them?
if it was my career, I want to say,
and hospitality and the nightlife.
well, okay, yeah. So I think it's all like, just think about going to school. You have your mentors in high school, mentors in college, and so on, or different eras. I think Bash Nightclub was the first one. And my mentors there would have been Jerry Kelly and Eric O'Morris.
Jerry Kelly and Eric. Eric O'Morris is a legend.
Yeah, Eric O'Morris and Jerry Kelly. And just because...
What would you say about Eric is
well, yeah,
stands out the most? Eric, talk about Eric for a second.
Eric was very quiet, very mysterious. He was French Senegalese. For anybody that doesn't know, Senegal, Africa. And but he was raised in Paris. Very worldly guy. He had a bar in a nightclub in Dominican Republic before coming to South Beach. Jerry Kelly was a couture designer, fashion industry. But then Jerry worked in Ibiza for years before moving to Miami. So here I am, a Miami young buck, and the two operators of Bash Nightclub is a fashion designer who also came from Ibiza, working that scene. And then you have this guy, from Paris, half Senegalese and worldly knowledge. And they brought what they learned where they're from. And they're my mentors. And it was really cool just learning about quality control and about the value of entertaining your customer. And you do whatever you can to create the optimal level of experience. And how to build also smoke and mirrors, about creating the illusion, creating that effect, that celebrity. That was a different era, man. That was the world when the celebrities were coming to South Beach.
They were in the house.
Unpaid.
So
Unpaid, yeah. That was
what's really cool about that nightclub. And
that was the late 90s.
And I can elaborate. So for those of you who know, Bash Nightclub had also two celebrity partners, investors. One was a guy named Mick Hucknall from Simply Red, the musician, worldly known, and Sean Penn, the actor. And they would come in probably once a year, twice a year when they were on vacation, but they were investors in the business. There was another guy named Thierry Klumanik who owned the nightclub in Paris called Man Ray. And he was really influential. He was like the celebrity wrangler. He was one of those guys that was part of the film festival, French Film Festival. He was Hollywood, celebrities, Europe.
Bring them in.
So you had this great, unique cast of owners that were all dynamic. And that era, like I could be sitting down in that nightclub and celebrities everywhere. They were coming to Miami, and there was paparazzi outside. It was different. It was very like boho chic, bohemian, and it was a great era in the 90s. So I learned a lot working with them on how their psychology was, how they thought about how to build a night. And, it's something that I was really fortunate. So I want to say those are the most influential. That's where I got that's where I got my BA in hospitality.
Wow, the BA in hospitality. It's good. I
had a question for you, Eddie.
For me?
Talking about that kind of vibe and stuff. Who was the one that opened Pacha back in the day? Remember?
Yeah, so that was that was not an official Pacha partnership. It was more as like a
knockoff.
It was kind of like a knockoff. licensing scenario, but it was not the real.
They had a nice run though, right? I mean,
I don't remember having too much of a nice run. I was a little young back then.
you were a little bit young.
I was a little young back then, but having known and been intimate friends with everybody from the Pacha organization,
Right. Because that's why I asked.
that wasn't the real deal.
That wasn't it.
That wasn't the real deal. Is there anybody else? There's definitely somebody else.
Oh yeah, and then when I left Bash, and then I did some work with Opium Group before they were Opium Group, and then I quickly jumped. I got a great job offer to go to the Forge. To oversee Jimmy Z's, which was a partnership Sharif Malnik had, and with also Regine Choukroun. Regine's also from Paris. If anybody knows who Regine is, Regine was the founder. Well, it was Jimmy Z's, but Regine is the founder of Regine's in Coconut Grove in the 80s during that crazy heyday. Regine's was that nightclub in the 80s where all the where all those guys, the cowboys were at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she went back to Europe, and then she came back to South Beach, and then it was the opening of, they did Jimmy Z's, and they had opened up. It was open up for about a year and a half, and then, ironically enough, which is a great story, this one I can mention. So when I was at Bash Nightclub, I took a little hiatus for the summer, and I moved to Barcelona, Spain, because I got a modeling contract. So I had to fulfill that. So in 1997, while I was in Spain, which is another thing I can add, I was sitting in a studio shooting a commercial and an ad campaign for a Swedish bobsled racing team. And I was in a one-piece leotard. I looked like Spider-Man, but in an all-black leotard.
And
An all-black leotard.
you got to find that picture.
Yeah, but it was for a bobsled, like a bobsled. And in that studio in Barcelona, we got the call saying that was when Versace was murdered.
I remember.
It was in 97, and I was sitting there. So, interesting story in Barcelona. Barcelona, I have some great stories about. But in Barcelona, this is a good one. So I don't know if you're going to edit this. It's Sharif, we got to get him on the show one day. So you mentioned Pacha, right?
Yeah.
So there's La Barceloneta of Barcelona was built for the Olympics. So there was a place called Pachita. Pachita was an offspring of the Pachas. So there was this really hot bartender. So I had met her at the beach. She's like, "Oh, I'm a bartender at Pachita. Why don't you come by?" So I would start frequent Pachita, the bar. It's a Tuesday night. So I'm visiting that local bartender at Pachita in Barcelona. And I'm at the bar, and I'm looking for something caught my eye outside. There's a window, and there's a guy going like this in the window. And I look at that window, I'm like, man, that looks like Sharif Malnik from the Forge Restaurant Group. And I walk up, I go, that's Sharif Malnik. This is great. This is in the summer in Barcelona, and he's in a 3-piece suit, looking sharp like
$1 million.
They always do.
He looked, like sharp, right? In a 3-piece suit. Like, I guess I was, you wanted to look sharp that night. I go outside, I open the door, I just left. Hey, Tony, hey, Sharif, wow, what's up? What are you doing here? I go, I'm here for the summer modeling. I had a contract. What are you doing in Spain? He goes, well, I just got together, did a boys trip running with the Bulls.
That's amazing.
In Pamplona. The guys, flew back. I had an extra day, so I'm here. I fly out first thing in the morning. So I'm like, let's come inside and have a shot. So we had a shot of tequila. We hadn't met in Miami before, but, when I would visit the Forge on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And then I, but he knew I was from Bash Nightclub. But we reconnected in Barcelona. I'm sitting here, a young buck, sitting with the owner of the Forge in Barcelona at a little bar. Like, who would ever thought? We had one shot after another. It was a long night. Finally, he says, I have to leave. I got to fly out to be at my Wednesday night party at the Forge tomorrow night for that magnificent Wednesday night party. I stay drinking at the bar. He takes off. no big deal. We exchanged numbers. He told me, listen, when you come back to Miami, come have dinner with me and let me know when you're in town and let's just hang out. So whatever, I wake up the next day hungover, I wait a few days. I call him, hey, I had a great time. Did you make it back to Miami on time? He never made it back to Miami. He overslept, missed his plane.
No, wow.
And that was the first Wednesday night party that he missed. So he's like, that fucker. Because of him, I had missed my first Wednesday night party. And he'll tell you that he missed his first Wednesday night party. I was like,
What'd you learn from him?
oh, man, he's great. So I'll tell you. So I basically made it back to Miami. We got reacquainted. We stayed in contact. And we built that communication, that friendship. So years later, when I finished my time at Bash and I did some stuff with the other group, I got a job offer from Sharif. He came back to me after we were talking. He's like, listen, I think you're a good guy. I've had Regine, Jimmy Z's open with Regine. I need some young blood. I need like that next new face. I need somebody to pass the torch to and be part of us and help me anchor it down and help the Forge and help Jimmy Z's. And I took the job with Sharif and I had that amazing opportunity working at the Forge. So I was there for about 2.5 years. And I got to tell you that working for that group was great. And having Sharif as a mentor, that was like getting a master's equivalent of my master's in hospitality, because that was my first time really immersing myself, not just with the nightclub part and overseeing Jimmy Z's, the nightclub. And we also had Cafe Nostalgia with Pepe Horta on the other side of the property. But I was at that Forge restaurant 5 to 6 days a week. And I got to witness firsthand how a white glove service 5-star restaurant operates, from the customer experience, the execution, everything. I was immersed in it. I ate great too. Drank from the wine cellar and
The sickest wine collection.
I can tell you,
They had the sickest wine collection.
I did my 30th birthday, and Sharif gave me as a gift for my birthday at dinner, he gave me a bottle of Chateau Lafite, Rothschild Chateau Lafite, 1971, which is the year I was born, for my 30th birthday.
Wow.
That was a good one, a nice gift. But I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about community engagement. I learned a lot about, he was really an advocate of community relations, not-for-profit charity work. So I learned that aspect of the business, that what you do outside of your work environment is so impactful. And because of who he was at the time and the legacy of his family and who they were as a prominent family in Miami Beach, I understood that the power of hospitality really reaches out and touches a community. There's a difference between opening up a restaurant that just opens its doors, and another difference is when you have a restaurant that impacts a community. And that was my master's.
That's amazing, dude. You know what's another one story? I just to bring it in too. What makes a Forge also another special thing. Believe it or not, our father, when he moved to Miami and came in the '60s, he actually worked in the Forge as a dishwasher and cashier.
Wow.
So our father used to work over there.
You guys got your roots down in there.
Yeah, that was coincidental. Like, he said, "Oh, we used to work."
I had my first food article written there at a wine tasting. I'm also know Sharif many years, and it was my first like stepping where I got the cutout in Miami Herald, and print media was still relevant at the time. So I've had my own little like beginnings of hospitality and that whole food realm, and the food there was amazing, bro.
Yeah, food, great.
Steaks,
Steaks, amazing.
big filet. So
Again, I was a young buck that was going in there.
Yeah, no, me too.
A little out of place, but I loved hanging out there. I think I celebrated my 22nd or 23rd birthday there.
Anniversary.
I remember I've had a great Halloween party I went to go.
Yeah.
There a picture was circulating the other day. We'll share it. I'm sure we'll share it when this of us at Jimmy's. We were
the best parties, a different generation. We did lingerie parties, people dressed up, pajama parties, people dressed up, anything, the engagement of people back then was very different.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I mean, we could do one day a segment on this, and if we brought in some key people, but with Regine, it was something that now that I'm older, I understood. She passed away a few years ago at 93.
Wow.
But she was the queen of nightlife in France. And I learned a lot from her because she would fly in and she'd call me from her condo in Miami Beach. Tony, I'm coming with my girlfriends tonight to the club. I want balloons. I want a lot of balloons. Right? So, but check this out. So I would say, all right, let's not do 100. Let's do like 400 balloons. So we'd blow up balloons with streamers and I'd overdo it just to almost be annoying.
Yeah.
But the more balloons I put, she goes, oh, I love it. Beautiful, magnificent, or magnific.
Yeah.
Magnific. Because why? I understood something. She wanted to walk in with her VIP entourage and she wanted to walk into a party. She wanted the shine, the glitz, the glam, the champagne. She wanted to move the balloons and all the, you know what I mean? It was the show. It was about the impact, the first impression. You want to walk in and feel and I get it. Smoke and mirrors. You got to create the show. She was known for, if you read about her, they hired her to do the opening in her youth in Europe. And she did a nightclub where she invited everybody. And the rumors were that she closed the front door, only had about 20 of her friends inside, and said nobody can come in. And just said it's too packed. Nobody got in. People hated her like the mug was outside. And she says, wait until tomorrow. It's going to happen again. They didn't hate her. They wanted it more. You know, it's kind of crazy.
Creating that mystique.
Back then, I learned that people want what they can't get. That was a different time. So, you know, el hijo de maltrato, like we say, you know, can you pull it off today? No, you know, but I don't know. There's something really great that I learned back then working under these people, how they create the mystique, the illusion, create that dream, create that fantasy world, and people want to be part of it.
No.
That's pretty awesome. Well, speaking of that, the fantasy world, top 3 parties you've attended, not necessarily parties you've thrown, top 3 parties ever you've attended.
Not a Diddy party, not a Diddy.
Yeah, well, maybe he was at a Diddy party. Who knows? You never know. But what is the top 3 parties you've attended? Whether you like the way, the vibe, the people, or the production, something like that.
In 2001, I was part of the production, but I was part of the team. We did the Miss Universe Afterparty in 2001. It was a private party for Ricky Martin's VIP party. And they flew me down to Puerto Rico to put this production together. And I brought the DJ, the dancers, everybody from South Beach to do this Miami-style party. Back then in Puerto Rico, it was a club called Asylum. So we rented that nightclub. And I worked with a guy named Ricardo Cordero on that one. And we rented the club Asylum. And the party was called Black, right? The Black Party. Because everybody coming from the Miss Universe pageant dressed up nice, we're always in tuxes or dressed up.
Right.
More black was the attire. So everybody had to come dressed in black, right? But we, the organizers, were all in white. And then the way we lit the room was phenomenal because everybody was all black, but there was the few of us that popped out in all white. It was a great party. The production was done great. That was in 2001. I can say another killer party that I went to. These are all non-real, like, those are big productions.
Yeah.
Was in 2005 at the Playboy Mansion. I was fortunate to have gone to the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
We did a big party that we were a sponsor for. And I went to the Playboy Mansion for the big lingerie party. Now that one, man, I could bring it out. I went out. I got really hammered at lunchtime. And then we drove I didn't have a pajama, but I wanted to wear a bathrobe. So I went to the Versace store in Beverly Hills and bought a $1,700 bathrobe that was on the mannequin of the Beverly Hills.
With inflation, that's like $3,500 today, right? They know that ain't right. They got about a $5,000 bathroom.
It was a $1,700 bathrobe. I think that at the Versace store in Beverly Hills, and I wore that Versace robe to the Playboy Mansion, and I still have it in a Ziploc at home. I've always wanted to put it on eBay, so that was a really killer. So I have that robe at home. That was a great party at
It's used.
a Playboy Mansion.
Did you get lost in any of the rooms?
Yeah, and then I think the really next good party that was a really good party is, and I'm going to throw my brother a little shout out, which is not because he's my brother, was the first Masquerade party in Midtown Miami.
Yeah, the Masquerade Motel.
The Masquerade Motel with Swedish House Mafia.
Wow.
At a tent. That was a party of parties.
That was insane. I have videos of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are three really cool events and best parties. I mean, look, the nightclub ones, there's just so many, but those are three memorable events.
Wow. What was so good about that third one?
Oh, that was just a great party. Look, it was just, who would ever, just the mobs of people.
It was like 8,500 people on the clicker that day.
Oh, the party must have been a nightmare.
House Mafia, everybody was dressed up. It was a really cool thing. I got a custom jacket for that one. The party, the vibe, that was it had the intimacy because it was so packed of a nightclub where it was, shoulder to shoulder, but large scale. It was, that was a party.
It was special, man.
That was 14 years ago. It was
special. That was 14 years ago.
a long time.
Right. Honestly, it was exactly 14 years ago.
Wow.
Man, you just brought back some memories. You know what, Tony? Now you've been talking a lot about the parties here in Miami, et cetera. If there was somebody that came in from out of town, if there's somebody that came in from out of town and they came to Miami and they said, Miami's not that great or there's nothing special about it, what would you say back to them? And how would you defend Miami or not defend it?
Well, they probably haven't seen the right places. I would say use me as your tour guide, someone that's a native and a local to show you the
right.
the
Stuff you don't see on TV.
Yeah, the non-traps, the authenticity, the real. Look, if you don't like Miami, you obviously were not, given the right sense of direction of where to go and what to do. I mean, I can see where people get lost in the shuffle. It's just finding the right things to see and do. But 100%, you need guys like us to guide you.
To show you around. Yeah. That's a good question, bro. What else you got, Em?
Well, I keep bouncing in here, but some of these questions, I actually took the time to write a few questions. Eventually, Tony, I'm sure will start asking some. But one of them was who's more likely to go viral doing something totally stupid, me or you?
Well,
and what would it be?
Well, I don't know if I will go more viral, but I vote me to do the most stupidest thing. For sure.
For sure.
Listen, I'll do anything. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And jalapeno eating contest.
M is the more common.
Yeah. He's definitely the jalapeno eating contest.
But the key to eating jalapenos isn't just, the key to eating jalapenos is
there's actually a secret to eating jalapenos.
You want to just chew enough and swallow it fast so you don't taste it. But I did a competition not too long ago with some guy who was a real Mexican. He goes, that's cheating. What you have to do is hit it a little bit, roll it for a while, and then you got to bite into it because now it's broken down. Listen, it's like 10 times the sizzle. It's really done the sizzle.
I like that. I can eat some jalapenos too. I like jalapenos.
For people who know me, know I'm really a clown. I like to live young.
I'm a kid at heart.
I'm a kid at heart. If I can make you laugh, I'll do whatever. So yeah, I don't know if I'll go viral, but I'll definitely do the most stupidest thing.
Definitely will now.
Let's talk. I got another one. Let's talk about trends for a second. And I'll ask this question to both of you guys too. You guys love going out. You've been social for your entire lives. Is there any trends that you see today that our listeners and or other hospitality owners should be made aware of? If you have one that maybe is something that we should all be looking out for, and maybe it's something that you like. And is there a trend that you see coming down the pipeline that you hate? Or there's like a pet peeve or something that you see people that do that they go out, but what is any trends that you see going on, right now?
Well, I think something that we do see now is that we don't see, like what we were talking about earlier, we don't see like any good clubs to attend right now. Maybe like one or two. I think the setup is now maybe like a place to eat and then maybe stay like at some of your
A
establishments.
restaurant.
Yeah, or like a lounge where like, I just had a good dinner, but you know what? I don't want to move. I'm going to stay here. And then it kind of switches into that. I think that's what we've been seeing a lot, because of all the...
Are you talking about like a traditional nightclub? Like,
Yeah,
maybe like, at 11 o'clock at night, close at 5 in the morning?
At all. I think it's somewhere like, like a regatta where you can maybe get a bite to eat and then, hey, whoever's not coming to eat early, you're still there.
Yeah.
It's for drinks, and I think that's kind of like where the strengths are now, where people like they want to have dinner and then maybe stay around or have the restaurant at some part of the night transition into a lounge so you don't have to like get up and go somewhere else. I don't think there is.
Yeah.
There definitely hasn't been something new in a while.
Us, right? You leave the house at 10:30, 11, show up at 11:30.
Yeah, show by midnight.
It's like 5. Nobody does that anymore. At least, not that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm a little bit older, but I just don't see it,
Oh yeah, I believe there's still regular nightclubs in Wynwood and downtown and whatnot. But
what are they in Wynwood right now? They're kind of like open facade. You got a 10 overhead. It's hot as balls. Right?
I don't know. That's a trend that you don't like.
I don't like it.
Is there any trends that you like or don't like, Tony, that you see coming up right now? Well, in general?
No, the only thing that I'm tired of seeing are just too many restaurants doing the same exact thing. Like there's no, I feel like there's a lack of authenticity in things that are just original. And then I just see too many restaurants trying to capitalize on the glitz and the glam, and there's no depth to the culinary experience. And there are a lot. I like ceviche. There's some restaurants that do good ceviche, but I'm just tired of every restaurant doing ceviche. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the fusion. Fusion leads to confusion.
Yes.
It's true because there's too many restaurants. Oh, we're kind of a little this or a little that. But so is it a 50-50, 60-40, 65-35?
Yeah.
A lot of...
And the flavors aren't there.
A lot of fusion leads to the confusion because now that's an excuse for your kitchen to kind of justify any shortcomings they have, or
we're not good at anything. We're kind of all right at it.
So I would love to see more authentic, just people saying,
"This is where you go for that."
Yeah, maybe our menu is minimal, but if you want this, we're solid.
What we do. This is what we do. I could agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a good one. I know this is probably Five Guys. I remember when Five Guys came many, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And if you really look at their formula, I don't know where they're at today, but I remember back when they first popped in the market, they wanted
so simple.
They wanted you in and out, right? Because it's about turning over chairs.
Yeah.
So it was really simple. You walk in, you grab some peanuts, something to kind of get you a little thirsty,
right?
Just to give you something to do that was engaging as a gimmick for the first 10 minutes. But when you went to the menu, it was like a burger, a hot dog, a fry, single, double, triple, and that's it. It's like, if you don't want a burger, you don't want a dog,
don't be here.
That's it. It was about,
kiss, cheap and simple and stupid.
And you know what? And you look at their build out, red and white tiles. It was like very cookie cutter.
Very easy.
The build out's easy. The food. So sometimes.
So you liked Five Guys?
At the time, I liked Five Guys because
I still do, by the way.
Dude, too. Five Guys is this shit.
It was in and out. You're driving by, grab a burger, get out of here.
So you could eat in the bag or stay inside. I'd say,
look, he said in and out. Another great one.
I'm all right. I don't like. It's okay.
Yeah, that's because you're not a West Coast guy.
I've been it.
The first thing I do if I land on the West Coast with my wife, we run to an in and out.
It's all right.
We saw. I mean, we just.
I think Five Guys is better.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion.
I guess we don't have to compare them. They're not next to each other down here.
No, not at all. By the way, I'm wearing this hat because of our pig roast coming up this weekend. I know that's going to air after, but
This is probably going to come out after. And let me just say, the pig roast was amazing.
yeah. But you guys being one of our judges and stuff like that, I'm excited. And
I love what you guys do.
after this airs, it was
How'd you get into the pig roast?
my dad and me and my dad. Well, my dad had a pig farm growing up. You guys
You guys had a pig farm?
We had a pig farm for like 20 years. He had 5 acres, and we'd have hogs there and animals and, vegetables and spend the day out there.
Where?
Out in Homestead, 184 and 184. Before all of them. And we'd spend the day there making hogs and cooking, and killing our own pigs and kind of like how everything should be. And then nothing. After being in TV, I wanted to do one of my segments, and I did a pig roast. I think it was 2011. And I had 5 teams, and we did it on NBC Telemundo, and that's kind of where it started. And then 2017, we were hired by A-Rod Corp for the Columbus Pig Roast. And
There you go.
I brought my friend Georgie Ramos at the time, who was an amazing chef, and we won it. And we called it. I kind of talked shit before, and I won it anyways.
You're not a shit talker, man.
And then after that, we just say, no, we got something here. That's when I partnered up with Lewis, and we got hired on we did a first one, which is our Super Bowl one, the one I'm wearing now. And then we got hired on by the PBA. And they wanted to do like 9 in their parking lot. I'm like, let's do a 900 team. So it just took.
How many teams?
The first one was 65. The second one was 110. And now we're at 135 for this coming Saturday. So, but it's all for a good cause. And
No, it's really great. What you do, it's for the love fund.
and I'm blessed to have you guys that, are our sponsors and want to be our judges. It's for the love fund for fallen officers. And we're just excited, bro, because it's a big community thing, like Tony was, talking about. And I'm a happy guy too. So I like to be having fun and at the same time doing good.
Eat a little lechon.
Eat lechon.
Hey, listen, so you being a barbecue guy too, obviously, I know you like barbecue, not just
How are the ribs at John Martin?
What?
Heard about it.
Well, listen, you know what? I got to tell you, if I come to John Martin's, there's 3 things that I love to eat.
Yeah.
It's like go to. My number one are new grilled chicken wings.
I vouch for that.
I like getting them naked. I think they're delicious. There's a perfect amount of char. They're brined 24 hours. I mean, to be honest with you, they're incredible.
I do. I order them.
I love those chicken wings. I think they're incredible. I'll put them up against anybody. I think they're the best wings in Miami. I know it's fired, but
Wait a minute.
But to me, I love those wings.
Best of
For me, I love them. Not knocking anybody else's.
No, I love them.
I love them. I love them. My next go-to that I love here at John Martin's is our rack of ribs. We have baby back ribs that are absolutely fall off the bone.
See them on Instagram.
Yeah, Tony puts the ribs on Instagram all the time.
I love them.
I love the ribs. I think they're great. Half rack or a full rack. Man, they fall off the bone. They're just
Should order a rack right now for us, boss.
Oh.
And third,
Number 3, if you want to go a little healthy, believe it or not, the Bronzino here is incredible. The Bronzino here is insane.
I've had it.
I love the Bronzino here. I think it's awesome. It's light, but it's hearty. I don't know if that makes sense, because how can something be light and hearty? I think it's the soft.
Oh, you're right. I've had it. So
And it's incredible. And I think the chef did an incredible job with that recipe and the execution of it. It fills you up, but you don't feel like,
right.
I have many other favorites. I could talk about our menu at John Martin's. Incredible. It's incredible. I can talk about it for a long time, but I actually have one other question for Tony, because you see Tony, he's like to be in the middle of all the action. He's always likes to be around the people. If there's usually like a commotion going on, he's in the middle making everyone laugh.
All right.
My question to Tony is, when you're out, do you drink? And if you drink, what is it that you drink?
Tequila.
I like tequila.
Why tequila?
Well, the funny version or the serious version?
The shit-faced version.
Well, truthfully, tequila. So for those, we know what it is. Tequila is the one alcohol that's an upper. Alcohol is classified as a depressant, right? So tequila is something that actually wakes you up. It gets your adrenaline going. It makes you, it gives you vitality. And that is why, if you look at growing up, when you think of Mexico, tequila, everybody's dancing in the bar is crazy, because tequila for me represents like that vitality, energy, life, full of spirit.
Celebration, huh?
Yeah, it's a celebration. But it does have that effect on the body, right? Tequila. Not only that, for me, I like the taste of tequila. And on the healthier version, because I tend to eat better and Tequila keeps you on ketosis. It's actually good for your metabolism.
Is there a brand that you like more than anybody else?
You like
Well, yes. If I were just to go drink a regular tequila or I go buy something at the liquor store, I like something classic, traditional like Herradura. I love it.
It's a good one.
Keep it simple. I even like I like the design of the bottle.
The horseshoe.
The horseshoe is great. It's
Here's that Herradura. He likes it.
just Herradura. Actually, I did my birthday party at Arcadia. My 40th birthday was at Arcadia at the Fontainebleau. And I remember that they asked me, what do you like? Herradura. So the Herradura rep came and sponsored it. And I don't know if my brother remembers, but you know how the girls walk out with champagne bottles? All the cocktail waitresses at Arcadia walked out with 6 bottles of Herradura with the candles. And they're like, that's 6 bottles of tequila. I go, great, open them and give everybody a shot. And that party just blew up.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's about a toast. It's about the what it represents. It represents camaraderie. And for me, I'm a tequila guy. Keep it simple.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm a tequila guy. I love freaking tequila. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He said it. It's a different vibe, a different notica, I guess.
I got it. You know what? To be honest with you, I have to.
I drink my scotch and my bourbon too, but I'll go with that.
I think for me it has to be, if I'm celebrating, tequila, 100%. There's nothing like tequila. It's the greatest. It's the upper. It's a celebration. It's the cheers. It's to slam the shot. If you've had a long day at work and you just need a drink, I'm a whiskey guy. I don't know. There's nothing better than a single malt. Luckily here at John Martin's we have 400 types of whiskey. So if I ever needed a drink, I could always come over here and pick one of 400 different selections that we have and get a nice glass of whiskey. And then obviously if I'm having a nice steak dinner, there's nothing better than a nice glass of red wine to go with your steak.
Sure.
Yeah, that's me. But that's me. But yeah, for me, it's if it's dinner, it's wine. If it's a celebration, it's tequila. And if you just had a long day and you need a drink, I'm to
John Martin's if you need a drink.
Now, I'm going to tell you what. So for those people out there who don't know, for me, I tell people
You say no dough?
that don't know.
Oh, that don't know.
Don't know. So it's very simple. Tequila is like same thing as you do like coffee, where you have like something that's like a breakfast roast, a medium roast, and like a dark roast. It's all about flavor, right? So you have silver, repo, and añejo. You drink your silver tequila in a cocktail. Keep it simple, stupid, whatever. Put silver in the cocktail. If you want a shot, you do a repo. That's fine. But you want to sip it and take your time, an añejo.
What about mezcal?
Oh, I like mezcals.
I think mezcal's phenomenal. As a matter of fact,
it's smoky.
my favorite, the first time I tried mezcal, believe it or not, it was in Acapulco with my best friends over there, Brandon Rulon and Brian Rulon. Great family from Acapulco. And we would go out to the middle of this lagoon in Acapulco, and they would make in this lagoon mezcal. Like these indigenous people that live there, they actually look like, Indians
Right.
over there and natives. And they would make mezcal and they'd serve it to you in these clay pots and little plastic water bottles. And it was just, I didn't know what it was. And they're like, dude, it's just like tequila, but not made in that part of Mexico. And it's just a little smokier. And I'm like, all right. And we would drink it. And some of it was infused with pineapple. And some of it was normal in these little clay pots. And we'd spend the day in this lagoon in the middle of nowhere of Acapulco, deep into the jungle there. And it's just some of the best times of my life drinking that with them. And the mezcal, you have to have it's an acquired taste because it's a little smoky. But the mezcal for me specifically, because I like the celebration of tequila and I like having a nice whiskey. To me, it felt like a mixture of the two because of the smokiness. And then we would have obviously fish and the seafood. And it was just a day. So we'd go water skiing and wakeboarding all day and drink mezcal. And then
We're gonna have to go on vacation with your brother, Tony.
Yeah.
Shit.
oh man, awesome guy.
We
love it.
Now, listen, I mean,
We got a couple more minutes, but that's it.
fine. Like, I like to do like an episode where I'm asking him questions.
Yeah. Well,
You could already do another episode for that.
all right, brother.
No, but so I'm just saying, like, so I got to think about like even better.
He's got to prepare.
The thing is,
It's all good. We sound checked. This is our first episode, man. It's been wonderful, man.
I have a lot of questions I can ask. It's really funny that
This is the first of first.
no. Now, one question is, like I like to ask him. I know it's kind of goes to me is, I'm a lot older than him, right?
Yeah.
And I was working in the club business. I want to know if I motivated him. To
love.
did I motivate him to get into the business because I was coming home with great stories to the house?
Well, you know what? I think it happened. The reason I got into the business was independent of you and independent of Alex. It just so happened that you were in the same business and we ended up working next to each other because I didn't really pay attention to that. Obviously, as a younger brother, look, we grew up 4 guys. So, and being one of the middle children, you look up to your older brothers, obviously. But the fact that they worked at the nightclub didn't motivate me per se to get into the business. What I would say is that I always looked up to them, and it was great to see the work that they did and the lives that they lived. Because I don't know, you look up to your older brothers and sisters, or if you come from a home the way we did, right? But yes, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that motivated me growing up with a brother like Tony. Like obviously, like he was into sports, he was into soccer. I was into soccer. My oldest brother was into soccer originally. Like we all played soccer as kids,
Yeah.
And then, it's like, so there's always that inherent amongst brothers, that inherent competition, obviously. But I feel like it was healthy and it just helped us become better as a whole. But looking at it, seeing what he did, and he was really good at a specific type of business, which was a higher end and also a specific market that he was into when he was into hospitality. Myself, I felt like I was always into the masses. I mean, I used to print my own flyers, pass them out, put them on cars, talk to everybody, work my own doors. I would do all that stuff. And it was just a different type of business and a different business model. At that time, Tony was working at a place that, yes, it was 300 people, but those 300 people were each spending $300.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to do 3,000 people, but they're spending $15. It's all good.
Yeah.
Right. And it's almost to say, so it's different. And that's kind of like the mentality of the businesses that we created today, where we'll do 2, 3, 5,000 people a day at a venue. And that business model, I think, works for us because all we really would love to have is our goal is, hopefully people to buy 2 drinks and maybe grab a bite to eat. That's great.
Right.
I think we can survive off that. It actually becomes almost inflation proof to a degree. It becomes accessible to a larger market of people. Everyone is always trying to fight for that top 2% clientele, celebrities, etc. And we get celebrities and we get those people and they would attend our parties, but it's not something that we focused wholeheartedly on. We wanted to be more, for our friends and the people we knew.
I think so.
Yeah, I guess he's right too. When I said that question, remember, I'm 7 years older. So when I started in the business, he was already getting into college. And then I was doing my stuff and he was doing the masses.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, what are you doing? He's at FIU. Yeah, man, we're going to hit
10,000 people.
We're going to put a flyer and every car at FIU. I'm like, whoa.
We used to break into let's say it for another story.
Yeah.
I'll say it for the next one. But I guess, dude, I just want to say thank you, Kiko, for coming on and having it.
I'm an honor to be here with you guys
and being here and shooting the shit with us for the first time. We hope to have a lot of great guests on here very soon.
Honored.
And I really wanted to get Tony's story out there because I believe it's a special one. And, if for some reason the audio was messed up on our first one, we could ask him again. He'll tell us.
I wish you all the better in the world, bro.
Thank you, my man. Hey, congratulations on such an amazing pig roast bowl. You and Lewis have done an incredible job.
So we'll talk.
And then I could ask you the question I meant to ask about the pitmasters. Like, which are your top 3 favorite pitmasters? I mean, you could probably answer that on your way out right now. Top 3 favorite pitmasters that you love. Barbecue pitmaster, guys. I know it's gonna get you in trouble. But if you leave somebody else, 3 people.
305 Barbecue, a Hialeah Ranch, and 305 Barbecue, Hialeah Ranch, and maybe the guys from Hialeah Gardens. They make a sweet pig.
Yeah?
Yeah. And they might win, so we'll see. Hopefully the next podcast we'll let you know who won.
Got it.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome. Take care.
Gracias. Thank you, Tony. All right.
Yeah, that was a good one.